Alright guys, part 2 of a Potomac series video about kind of running the Potomac, where to go. I might do this for another body of water, so drop down in the comment section what you liked about this, maybe how I can improve. I saw a guy do this on a video about Lake Murray because I was researching that one because I was like, heck, maybe I can just go down to Lake Murray and do a tournament down there for fun, a BFL. So, you know, I was researching that, trying to get some more information on that, and I saw him do this video, and I thought, you know what, this is a pretty darn cool video. So it made me want to do one for the Potomac, because this is where I learned to drive my boat. And, you know, every place is different. Every place has its intricacies, and I hate to hear, you know, about people messing up their boats or you know, running into stuff and none of that. Just when you go into a new body of water, it's always hard. To learn a new body of water. And you know, this is not about like giving away the top spots of where everybody's fishing or anything like that. I just want to give you an idea of where to go to catch fish, maybe how to and how to navigate this body of water, which can be very treacherous. As in, with part 1, we went over the northern part of the Potomac, which is the DC area where you have to fish. You have to have your a DC fishing license to fish in that area. It's pretty cheap, it's like 10 bucks. But in this section, we're going to go over kind of the midsection, which will probably stop around the Nativewatercraft area. I could probably do a whole video just on Nativewatercraft in itself, but that would be more of a giving away specific spots, and I don't want to do that. I just want to talk about the water system as a whole. So let's go into the middle part of the Potomac. All right, so I'm gonna fire up the old screen capture here. All right, so what I'm going to consider the middle part of the Potomac is basically going to be Piscataway all the way down to Nativewatercraft Creek right here. And you see that's a lot of water to cover, so let's just hop into it. The main thing I want to point out is, you know, anytime you're running, you can pretty much run the channel. You can run across some of these spots right in here, whether it be low tide or high tide. You can run in close proximity to the shoreline down here. There's actually a good boat ramp right here at Marshall Hall if you don't want to go into the Smallwood State Park or something to launch. So look at Marshall Hall as a good boat ramp. Good boat ramp to use on the Maryland side. I'm not too familiar with too many boat ramps on the Virginia side, other than what's the one down here? I cannot think of the one that's down here. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. It's right over here. What the heck is that? What the heck is the name of that one? Oh, I hate when I can't remember the names of stuff. We'll call it boat ramp for now. Anyway, back up here to Fort Washington, which is where we stopped the last video and talked about kind of this area to where you can fish. Now, during the spawn, this area right here is a pretty daggum good area. You'll see a lot of boats stacked up in there. It's a large community hole. Everybody knows about it, and maybe you're just learning about it now, but hey, it's a community hole. The thing about this area too is you need to be careful with how you run it. There's some logs under there. There's some things will wash in and get stuck there. So, you know, definitely follow your path in. Be careful hugging too close to this area. It gets pretty shallow up in this area. But, you know, this is an area that grass starts to grow in, you know, kind of quick sometimes. During different parts of the year, you got a lot of piles, sticks, just a good area to check during the spawn. Now, once they spawn, they tend to move out of this area, and it just pretty much dies off for the rest of the year. If somebody thinks that's wrong, hey, go ahead and comment down in the section below, because I'd like to know. But definitely a well-known community hole with during the spawn time. But you know, how you want to get in here is definitely kind of run these channel markers as you get close to these dock systems, which are worth a check. Sometime during the year, maybe when it gets hot, really sunny, once they pull off, they might pull off into this area. So, you know, I've caught a few fish in here before off these docks, but never really been to the back of this area, except for in a kayak. And I know I've got bit along some of these laydowns and things in there, but it's pretty shallow in this area. I mean, I've seen people standing all the way out out in this area. So, and when I say standing too, I'm talking like it's just above their knee, so to speak. So, let's see what we got here. But you know, this is Piscataway Creek. Again, large expansive flat. You got to check it all out. Moving down, you know, you've got some areas worth checking out here. You know, sometimes grass will grow in these little pockets and things. Always good to check those out. Always good to check anything where you have deep water in close proximity to land there. Channel swings as they swing across, exactly what you have kind of right there. Little Hunting Creek. This is an area that I've you know, been in. We've caught good fish in there before too, and I think always worth a check. Always worth a check coming in here. Anytime you've got water feeding, I mean, this water moves in this area right here, so that's always good. Got a lot of shallow spatter dock, lily pads in this area, so snakehead, possibly good snakehead location. Got some docks that sit kind of on deep water, and deep water in this sense is, you know, you're anywhere from 5 to 10 feet is what I'm calling deep. But yeah, definitely the Potomac's a place. If you're not used to running in 2 feet of water or 3 feet of water, you're going to get used to it in some of these locations that I'm talking about. But, you know, the way I'd normally get in here, safest way, just boom, come off the main channel, haul into this little ditch right here, which, you know, I should probably give this ditch a try sometime, especially as this is a feet or two into this area, and what you end up having is this large barge that launches out of this area. You know, so hey, on some bodies of water, when a large barge disturbs things, you could have feeding frenzies. So I might actually give that a try this year. But you know, I normally run in here, boom, full on plane, just come in through these little fishy icon right there. I might need to give that a try. I've never given that a try. But running through there, in through this area, there's some grass and stuff, lily pads, stuff that grows up in there. Might be worth a quick try. But you know, come on in through here, probably set down right in there before you hit this bridge. Normally people fishing in there, and it can get, you know, but it's pretty deep right here at this bridge. And then fish it, and that's how you kind of get into the Little Hunting Creek area. Wouldn't advise running across here. Never done it. Just probably wouldn't advise it. You know, wouldn't advise taking this route. Again, never done this route right here to where you run through this area. All right, moving down. You got Doge Creek. Pretty much gets a lot of grass, a lot of you know, shallow stuff. I've definitely been in here. Probably the first place I ever hit anything with my motor was, you know, kind of, I was idling, but it was kind of back in here. As a new boat owner, you know, hitting anything with my motor kind of scared me. Less fear of that nowadays, but I don't really have much to say about Doge Creek. Can't say I've ever been back in there and caught fish. Can't say that I've committed a lot of time to it either, though. I like how you got this one little guy right out here in the middle. I wonder if that's like rock piles. So one of the things I said in my last video is that you have, you know, these rock piles and hard spots that are out in these areas, and you know, so you see it shoal stuff. But you know, always worth a check. You know, grass will grow throughout this whole area. One of the tips is finding the right kind of grass. You know. Yeah, exactly. You know, you see this long spot right here. You have a channel swing against this bank that, I mean, look at that. That should be like textbook right there, guys. I can't say that I've caught anything along this line. I suck at tidal. I do not like fishing tidal waters. I'd rather fish a lake or something like that. It's just an area I got to get better at. You know, it's how it is. That's all we can do at fishing. Just try to get better. Try to do everything we can. But you know, it's an area that if grass can grow, you got deep water right out here. I think see plenty of stripers and all that all the time out there. Large quantities of bait and all that. So if that's what you're after, it's good. You know, kind of swing into here. Now I have done decent right in this area near this. I think this is that Navy or Coast Guard or something? Anyway, this thing's off limits. right? You're not supposed to be able to fish that. And if I'm wrong, hey, go ahead and correct me, guys. That's cool. This is Potomac Bay. A lot of good different areas in here to fish. You can actually launch down here. Little launch ramp down there. This gets pretty shallow. You get a lot of grass build up. I've actually caught decent fish right back in here on a laydown before. I've run all the way back up in here with my boat and didn't catch a single thing. But, you know, we've had some kayak tournaments in this area, some pretty good bags, you know, so that come out in this area. It's just going to take some time to figure them out, figure out where they're at. But, you know, they're definitely fish in this area. You know, definitely a good creek to check out. Always gets some notoriety and some good fish that are caught back in that area. All right, moving on down. Most of this area right here you can run across. Greenway Flats, all this kind of stuff right there. Run across all that, no problem. What you'll see right here is you got some more channel swings, and over here you have Potomac Creek. You can kind of get all the way back into there. The water moves pretty good in there, so you know, always worth the check to get up in there, see how well the water's moving, if they're biting. I mean, you can get back in there and the neck's down pretty slim back in this area. I've only been back there once. With as much as I've fished the Potomac, I've only been back there once. But you know, this area is pretty well known flat right here that gets grass on it. I think you see some old videos, Scott Martin fishing this area. And everything that I'm telling you too, guys, you know, this is all in a book that was written back in 1984. It's one of those things, if you do your research, you're going to find this information. That book was like by Ken Penrod back in the day. And he talks about all of these spots, guys. These are all well-known community spots. I'm not giving anything away. But you know what, how I'd kind of run this would, I'd kind of come in, you know, come in near this area down in here. Watch out, there are some big logs and stumps like that. Kind of come in here, and I'd slow down and idle in, just because I like to be cautious. I err on the side of caution to kind of come in here and start working this pretty good ditch in there. Caught a catfish in there. Shocker. You're gonna catch some catfish, some cat bass up there on the Potomac, but good flat there, good healthy grass, good hydrilla, mixture of. I gotta figure out what that other type of grass is, because guys, there's the different types, and you want the hydrilla. Don't you know, the other stuff? I can't say that I've caught anything along that. On that same token, you know, you come over here to the Mason Neck area, and if you go back to the FLW where Tom Monsoor won, you know, you'd see that he'd start out here and he'd be like, oh, I found some rock piles. You mean those little things right there? Those are absolutely rock piles that feed in there. And this whole area can be good. You know, it's a long, I mean, you're talking a long grass bed. Like, we could start the grass from here, which you would think this area would just be loaded because it's so close to deep water and proximity. But, you know, grass gets so thick up in here, you know, you can't, it's hard to work, but you got a good defined grass edge that I've slayed some catfish on before. Never pans out for bass. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't fish it enough. I don't know. But you know, this area generally in here gets good concentration of bass. But this is what I talked about in my last video. You have feeder creeks and you have these feeder ditches and things like that, to where, you know, fish will move all the way back up into here in these areas, and then as that tide starts dropping, they'll pull out into these areas as well. But I'm talking, this grass line goes all the way down. This is one of the longer ones on the Potomac right here. So it's a long, expansive one. You know, kind of comes out pretty far out into this area. Depending on the time of the year, it's there, and it's not. So you know, those are areas to check right there. Very well known areas. Be careful, don't run straight across here or anything like that. That's a very shallow point. There's a little island there. Moving on. Moving on to Occoquan Bay, son. Yeah. Occoquan Bay, yeah, you can pretty much cut across all of this area right in there. stuff will wash in. You always run that risk, but just know that, yeah, you can run into this area. Some old Bassmaster footage, I think, of seeing like KVD and them fishing this general vicinity. Again, you got some feeder creeks there. Like I said, those are always good. Always things worth check. Seen, I've gone through, flip these docks, and then seen a guy come right in after me and like throw something, probably a smaller finesse thing, and catch things. I tend to do better with finesse on the Potomac, despite how dirty it is. Now, when the water, when we've not had a lot of rains, it can actually get crystal clear, and you can see the bottom. It's been a shocker, and I think that's why, you know, like a weightless Texas rig, wacky worm, or not even wacky, but just a weightless Yamamoto Cinco works extremely well in these situations, because, you know, you take Belmont Bay. This is an area that can get crystal clear when the water's right. You have thick grass that grows up along in here and along these areas, a little fishing point right there. I will always harp on the fact that, you know, drains and ditches and things like that, like this, will always hold good fish and will always hold good concentrations of fish. Now this area becomes, I mean, there's a time in this area right here I've counted 30 boats, right? Not giving away any, not breaking any hearts there. That's something people know, that, you know, spawn time, this area gets really good. You know, once the grass, if we have a good grass growth, this area can be really good coming off of Occoquan. I have done some fishing up in Occoquan, seen some people catching off of these pylons and stuff. I think it's just something you have to commit to if that's the kind of bite that you're looking for. You know, you got deep proximity into these kind of bluff walls right there. But I've not spent too much time up in there. It's a pretty decent idle zone to get all the way back in there. So if you're planning for a tournament, plan for, you know, long idles. If you're looking at some of these areas back here and be like, oh, I'm gonna go all the way back here, like, that's a pretty long idle, because the idle actually starts maybe right in there or so. Yeah, that's about where the idle starts. It's a pretty shallow area right there. Can just be exposed land when the tide goes out, but doesn't mean that there's not fish there. Same with some of the structure and things that are over in this area as well. And, you know, that's Occoquan. You're running in here from the main river. You can pretty much run in here. This area gets a lot of grass and stuff. So this could be an area you could spend a whole day just, you know, or a good half part of the day just checking out if you're practicing for a tournament. This area seemed to be pretty popular this time of year. You had a nice little grass patch there that was hydrilla, and a lot of people set up on that this year. Moving on down, I can't say that I've ever been into Powell's Creek. Yeah, probably need to check that out. Nabisco I've been into for sure. Some little intricacies in there, little things that are unique. You know, just kind of run in here, follow your channel line. You can run on plane. It gets pretty shallow in these other areas, especially when you pass through here. I mean, some of these areas become really shallow, so you have to kind of hug close to these docks. But these docks can be about 1 foot, 2 foot of water once the tide goes out. Definitely always worth a look. You know, there's some drainage pipes that are in amongst these that you can find. Never been further back in here. Like I said, it necks down pretty shallow in this area, so that, you know, you have to be pretty close to the docks here, or else in this area you'll be dragging your skeg on your lower end unit on mud and some shells as well. Why can't I think of the name of this dadgum dock here? Or not dock, this launch. It's a very popular launch, guys. I'm sorry that I can't think of the name of it. Leesylvania, that's it. Sheesh. Leesylvania launch. A lot of tournaments held out of here, so a lot of released fish going to this area. So good to know, fishing a tournament, a lot of released fish going off there. and again, you got some more feeder creeks coming in there. There's a good little grass area right in there that some grass grows. I've never been further back. It gets pretty shallow, but I've seen some videos of them guys catching around this area. But as that tide's pulling out and you have those small ditches and stuff, I've got some dinks over in this area. And that is kind of the midsection of the Potomac, guys. Like I said, you're rolling out of Matawoman. A lot of the tournaments will launch out of Smallwood State Park. You know, roll out of here, shoot around. You can shoot across this area. Pretty much all this area is good for running. We'll go over that in the next section. But yeah, you can run somewhat fairly close to the shore. Don't run too close. There's no need to run right up against the shore, but you know, run through there. You can run across here. Be careful of this little island that's right there, and also you can run through, you know, some of this area, but be careful. There are a few things to want to avoid. But I've run across this area quite a few times, kind of circled up in there and gone that way. This section of the water can get pretty rough depending on how the wind's blowing as well. So just know that once you're going to hit this part, it can be a little rough. Be prepared for that. And all. So guys, that's this midsection of the Potomac. Let me know down in the comments section what you liked, what you disliked. If you disliked me, hey, more power to you. I don't really care. But, you know, as always, guys, thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for part 3.